Hello and welcome, or welcome back if you've been following along with me. I'm still Michael Beck, and I had just been thinking about, oh gosh, just how we ever can possibly find just, I don't know, acceptance. I guess just specifically just for, the state of the world and the way that things are. How is it that we can, not bury our heads in the sand or, walk around with rose colored sunglasses to understand that, yeah, there's like really awful and horrible things going on. And at the same time, maybe there's some good things going on too. Just how do we, because I guess in particular, I've kind of been seeing an idea floating around that depression is like the appropriate response to, to being awake and having your eyes open, and again, like having an understanding of like what's going on, the problems, and like I totally understand, but I just don't know that I completely entirely agree or want to just accept and buy into that. Like, like I just think of the people in history, and even people still living, who I have like admiration for, and I feel like are very aware of things going on and are actively, in one way or another, like involved in trying to help and trying to make progress happen. But I wouldn't say that they're depressed. I wouldn't say that they're overly anxious. Like, I just get the sense that there's a manner of peace that they have and happiness, not all the time, especially when they're directly working with and having to deal with these, really horrendous things. But it just seems like there's something different there that I guess I want to aspire to, and to work towards, not just, accept like, oh, like either being blind or, again, like not being blind and being, depressed and anxious. Like, I just don't want to, I don't want to believe that. Even if that's, naive, like, I just like want to believe that there is a way. And again, from some people that I've seen, like I believe that there is a way, and that they are showing and demonstrating a different kind of path, a different kind of living out life, that is not one of despair, but not also one of being ignorant. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess I also, I mean, I don't necessarily consider myself like a huge history buff, but to the extent to which I feel like I have some understanding or have a desire to further understand history is really because I feel like it gives perspective and it gives context. I feel like it gives context to better understand where we are now, how we got here, but also perspective to see that there are things that we've been struggling with, forever. And at the same time, maybe things that have gotten worse, and maybe some things that have gotten better. And I think it's easy, to be nostalgic and to say that, especially depending on who you are, like it's easy forever long now in history to, be a white person and look at times past and be like, oh, it's good then. Well, it's like, well, it was good for you. But how many other people were getting shafted? And so I think that's so often the case is like, for a particular group, maybe is like really great. But I don't know. I think that it's like life is just hard. Life is generally just hard. But again, like, how is there a way to accept the difficult parts of life at the same time? Accept and relish in and really delight in the good things that are happening. I want to say that's something that I talked about in maybe a blog post, but yeah, just thinking about good and evil and how there's both. It's not just evil. It's not just good. But we focus so much on evil. But like, what happens if we can focus on the good? And focusing on the good, are we necessarily, completely opting out of or blinding ourselves from the evil? Maybe not necessarily. I think it's, pretty hard to just completely, I don't know, maybe not, but I feel like for a lot of us, for your average person, like, it's pretty difficult to just completely, disassociate, and be like, oh yeah, everything's great. Clearly it's not, but so I think we're always going to hold that, but how do we maybe hold stronger the good? And how can that keep us, I don't know, inspired and hopeful? I don't know. I guess I'd be curious if you can think of or know of anyone who seems to, be an active participant in the world, recognize all of the good and all of the bad, and doesn't seem to have fallen into despair and into depression. And I just feel like those people exist, and I feel like we really need those people, those kind of standouts who are the difference. Because I think, so much we just see people who are just, going along like everything is fine, nothing's a problem, and just seem to be happy all the time. But then, the inverse side is just people who are, completely cynical and just, your curmudgeons. And that, that's just kind of at best a misery loves company situation. So I think that's probably all I've got here. This is, I guess, a really short one, but yeah, just a quick thought that I wanted to make note of. And as usual, I'm not here giving answers. Just sharing my thoughts. Maybe some hopes and some aspirations, and just things that I'm actively challenged by. Just as always, like, wanting to encourage and instill some kind of hope rather than despair. So, hopefully that could go both ways. And, as I'm trying to, present some hope here, by all means, if you feel so inclined or led, feel free to, drop a comment with just some hopes and encouragements. How are you staying hopeful? Where are you finding your hope? How are you combating the depression and the anxiety that is very real, and overcoming that. Some thoughts, some questions. So I wanted to weigh in with a few additional thoughts, and it's something that was kind of in the back of my mind, and then I did share with a friend of mine, and it seems like we were in some kind of agreement, and so I just thought I'd kind of add those in, because it just wasn't like kind of sitting right with me, just this idea that I mentioned. And like, I had maybe like a specific example, maybe a comedian or something was, but I feel like it's just something that I see, like, floating around here, and popping up in various places as, information kind of, does. It kind of just, passes around and disseminates, and maybe even, comes from various points of origins, but, and so it's like, I don't know who coined these ideas. But of like depression being like a natural response to, being awake and things going on. Like, it feels like it's some way like enabling depression, or like in some way just like missing like what depression like actually is, like the fact that like depression's like, it's not just being sad, like, and I think that's like can be tricky or troublesome, because someone can experience some bouts of depression, have like a hard year, but I feel like clinical depression is different than like just going through a hard time. Like, it's like years and years of just like not getting out of it, kind of regardless of like what else is in the circumstances that are going on, even potentially. So I don't think that necessarily like there has to be like this like direct correlation between, bad things going on and being depressed. Like, you could have bad things going on and not necessarily like stoop into depression. But I mean, you can have things like going well and you can find yourself still struggling with depression, like regardless. And I think about just the ideas of acceptance and complacency as well. And I think that it's like really easy for those things to be misconstrued, because to me, and these are just kind of like my own like working definitions, but I feel like to me, like, acceptance is in some way coming to terms and to peace with something or things. And that's different than complacency, which is kind of laissez-faire, kind of just, how would you say, just kind of words. I think you know what I mean. Like, just this, I'm like looking for other I don't know, words adjacent to complacent, like just being resigned to and being like apathetic, and just it's not really, I think it just has a different feeling and a different flavor to, again, like actually coming to terms and having some sort of peace for things. Complacency is not like coming to terms and having peace with things, and it can be, like marked by like somehow like kind of sleepwalking and not really being present and acknowledging things. Whereas, again, like acceptance, like I think that it is being awake, it is being aware, but it's just choosing to, have a different kind of perspective or a different way about things. And so, yeah, I think I just, those are some things that I just wanted to add into the discussion, along with what I already included, is just, yeah, again, just try to think in terms of, yeah, just finding some kind of hope and some different perspective, and not just succumbing to, despair. And I feel like complacency is some kind of disparaging way to say that, like, it is what it is. And it's like hard because, yeah, there's like so much like subtlety, and again, like, many things could be like used in a certain way and have different like meanings, but to like me, like, just the way it's been like spoken and used, like, in conversation for me, like, it is what it is like really like dismissive and like invalidating. But to say, like, I don't know, I guess that's even something I'm still, like, as I'm thinking about this, recording this, is something that I'm like thinking about, is like a way to kind of to frame in like word, like what it means to not just say it is what it is, and like, things will never change and things will never get better. That sort of mindset versus this is what it is, but I'm not necessarily like okay or just resigned to it, having some hopes and some desires for things to somehow to improve or to change in some way. I think that, yeah, just not wanting to get, like, things likely probably won't go back to the way that things were, and things aren't going to be necessarily the way that we want them to be, but I guess how can we work towards things maybe being more in alignment with, I guess, our own internal life being more in alignment with our values and our morals. So I guess I'm gonna leave that there. We'll see if I'll add this to what I had to put in the first part. But yeah, I guess I'll end this. And yeah, thanks for considering these thoughts with me. Till next time, please stay well. Take care.